Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Motordrome Speedway, where this evening we present the NASCAR Whelen All-American Series with 5 divisions of racing action. At this time, we ask that if you are moving around the Speedway grounds, you please pause with us for just a moment, and we ask at this time that everyone please rise up from your seats, and gentlemen, remove your caps for tonight's opening ceremonies. Joining us here on the front straightaway to sing the national anthem tonight is Melissa Grimm, and here with our invocation is track photographer Howie Bayless. Howie?
Good evening, everybody. Will you please bow your heads? We're here for tonight to enjoy ourselves, for entertainment. But let's not forget, this is very dangerous. We pray for the safety of the drivers, the crews, the pit crews, the track crews, and the fans. We also pray for the safety of everybody who's out defending our country. And may everything go well, and we have a great week and able to continue to enjoy ourselves next week. Amen.
And please remain standing for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you to Howie Bayless and Melissa Grimm. And now, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to go NASCAR racing? And the green flag is out. Pete Reck in the 81 car, a teammate this year to last year's successful driver Harry Ofer. We got a problem out of turn 2 as Opolinski gets tagged after spinning by the 97 of George Nicola, who continues on. Opolinski pulls away from the scene and the green flag stays out. It looked like Opolinski in the 66 made contact with the 6 of Tom Frank, which started that incident. George Nicola, an innocent bystander, made contact, then proceeded on, and we're still racing. Opolinski in his second season, although he only raced sporadically in 2007, able to right that car and continue. Meanwhile, Lonnie Hoffman works his way back to the scoring line, leading lap number 2. Pete Reck, the driver converting from dirt track stock car competition, now in open-wheeled cars on pavement, is being haunted by last week's feature winner Tom Frank in the 6. Opolinski pulls pit side as the leader heads out of turn 4. Lonnie Hoffman leading lap 3 now, with Reck in second, Frank in third. A distant fourth is Knight, as he may have had to back off for that incident, which found Opolinski sideways. Working lap number 3 of 8, and last week's winner, Tom Frank in car 6, looks to make an inside challenge in turn 3. Pete Reck will have none of it, and at the crossed flag, signaling halfway, it's Lonnie Hoffman leading Pete Reck and Tom Frank, who is eager to make a move for second position in car 6. Last week, Tom Frank made it a sweep by winning his heat race and the feature. And now the young Ohio standout, who was many times a go-kart track champion, haunting the rear bumper of Pete Reck in car 81. Reck, an asphalt rookie with a couple seasons of limited late model competition under his belt on the dirt tracks of Western Pennsylvania. A teammate to Harry Ofer this season. Ofer will be out in the next heat. He won the biggest event of the season last year for modifieds, and look at that, Reck going right back to the dirt inside of the pavement this time, kicking up dust as he got a wheel or two onto the apron below the pavement. Still Tom Frank unable to capitalize as we're working lap number 6 of 8. Tom Knight Jr. is a distant 4th. George Nicola a distant 5th. Headed out of turn 4, Lonnie Hoffman will see the white flag indicating final lap. He's got about 3 car lengths between himself and this torrid fight for second place on the final lap. Tom Frank switches to the high lane out of turn 2, nothing doing as Pete Rex slams the door on him. And the driver who spent several seasons competing in the Subway street stocks, now moving up to the Al Civic-owned modified number 58, the hometown hero, Lonnie Hoffman from Smithton, takes the checkered flag. Finishing 5th in car 76, it's Tom Knight Jr. Finishing 4th in car 97, it's George Nicola. Of Bobby Ship from Elizabeth, PA. The 60 is multiple-time track champion Adam Kostelnik, and the green flag is out. 8 more laps for the modifieds. Harry Ofer, whose teammate Pete Reck just drove to a second-place finish, darts out into the lead ahead of Jim Nicola. Now Nicola tries to battle back as Brian Shipp and Chris Brink are wheel-to-wheel in a fight for 3rd. Brink loves the outside lane. We call him the Glenn Campbell Gambler, and he is still wheel-to-wheel with Shipp. Adam Kostelnik started last, looking to thread the needle between the Shipp brothers, the 04 of Bobby Shipp, the older of the 2 brothers, the former Charger Division champion who led 19 of 20 laps in last week's feature, is pulled to the outside behind the Chris Brink 0. Kostelnik in the 60 making contact out of turn 4 that time with the 04 of Shipp. Out in front, it's Harry Ofer from Bell Vernon in the 01. Now Brian Shipp in the 40, the youngster trying to challenge the former champion and veteran Jim Nicola in the 5. Adam Kostelnik sneaks by Brian Shipp and Chris Brink in 1 lap as we're working lap number 3 of 8 in the Viglione Racing number 60 car, moving to the outside of Brian Shipp in the 40. Kostelnik, 3-time and defending modified champion in car 60. Reeling in 2-time champion Nicola in the 5. And we're working lap number 4. And I need all my fingers to figure out that Kostelnik's a 4-time champ as he tries to look to the inside of the 5 of Nicola. Nicola, the champion of the division in 2001 and 2003. And Kostelnik very close racing on the front straight on lap number 5 with car number 5. He gets tagged just a little from Brian Shipp as Kostelnik had to lift off the throttle. The Shipp brothers now right behind the defending champ. Kostelnik with a great job to gather it up from incidental contact. That allows Jim Nicola about 3 or 4 car lengths of breathing room in the 2nd position. But with 2 laps to go, checking out on the field is Harry Ofer in the 01 car. Ofer last season got his first career win and followed that up with another big victory in the biggest event of the season for the modifieds. Now the challenge for 2nd place resumes as Kostelnik has the inside line on the front straight. White flag waving, final time around the Motordrome Speedway for the modifieds in heat race action. Ofer will run away with this one, but look at the battle for 2nd and look at the Shipp brothers battling for 3rd. Kostelnik started last in the field and takes 2nd spot from Nicola, but out of turn 4, the 01 of Harry Ofer with another heat race victory over Kostelnik, Nicola, and the Shipp brothers. Smith from 84, Pennsylvania. The 78 Hemp Hill Racing entry is driven by Bo Glemba. 37 is Paul Urso, 22 Richard Mitchell, 1 is Steve Black, 11 is Bobby Henry, the defending champ, and 44 is Gregory Kelly. Down the back straight, single file, as the Fords of Wiltrout and Smith out in front, then Bo Glemba, the former modified star, in 3rd. The 22 car, the Howard Concrete Pumping Chevrolet, that is Richard Mitchell. 3-time former track champion as we see Smith makes a bobble out of turn 2 and opens the door for Bo Glemba to take the 2nd position. Mitchell will follow right through. Last week, Mark Smith in the Hunter Truck Sales Ford had a problem on the opening lap of the feature event and pulled pit side. Smith remains side by side with Mitchell, but now Mitchell completes the pass in turn 4. Glemba in second, Mitchell in third, Smith in fourth with Paul Urso challenging in the 37 car. The Sullivan Chevrolet entry from Glenshaw, Pennsylvania, former Rookie of the Year Paul Urso taking away the fourth spot, and here comes Bobby Henry, the defending track champion, moving to the inside of Smith. Working lap number 4 of 10, and Bobby Henry's teammate Gary Wiltrout has an enormous lead in this heat event. Battle for second finds Richard Mitchell, the Brewston Mills, West Virginia driver, pulling to the inside of Charleroi Bo Glemba and taking the runner-up spot. 5 laps down, 5 laps to go as crossed flags signal halfway. Bobby Henry now the man on the move. He passed Mark Smith and quickly dives to the inside of Paul Urso's 37 car. Henry from Connellsville, PA, with 113 career feature wins, climbing up to 4th in this event. His teammate Wiltrout will lead. Both of those Fords out of the Paul Agrudo Motorsports stable. It's Wiltrout out in front, the 2002 NASCAR Pizza Hut Super Late Model champion, then 3-time champion Richard Mitchell, the Tom Clark Chevrolet number 22. Bo Glemba in the Hemp Hill Racing Glemba Asphalt number 78 car is third, and Bobby Henry in the Stone and Company Megan Ford number 11 pulling up to the rear bumper of Glemba for a possible challenge. Urso in the Sullivan Chevrolet hanging on to 5th as we're working lap number 8 of 10. With 2 former champions up front, Mitchell closing the gap on Wiltrout, but at the wave of the white flag will not have enough time to challenge. Side by side in turn 1 and nearly trading decals on the front straight. Bobby Henry makes the pass and nearly loses the rear bumper. As Bo Glemba falls back 1, maybe 2 spots now to Paul Urso on the final lap. Checkered flag will wave for Gary Wiltrout over Richard Mitchell, Bobby Henry, and Glemba by half an inch over Urso for 4th. Tommy Beck from Murraysville. Outside, it will be Neil Brown returning to competition from Acme, Pennsylvania, car 98. Former champion Mark Catone from McKeesport drives the 31. It's Tim Bailey Jr., the sophomore driver in car 17, kicking up dust through turns 1 and 2. The 9 is Will Thomas from Sharpsville, and the 8 is Dan Lewis from Monongahela. The D&D Office Plus Ford, owned by the Mans Family Racing Team, driven by Todd Price out in front. Challenge for second, last year's leading feature winner, Tommy Beck, diving to the inside of Mark Poole and taking that spot away. The Benz Motorsports number 60 up to second on lap 2 of 10. Mark Poole, the Howard Concrete Pumping 96, in third spot. Then Mark Catone, the former track champion, and Will Thomas in the 9. Drivers battling for 4th had a great opening night here at Motordrome as Mark Catone led several laps of the feature event before coming home in the top 5. And the 9 of Thomas, using the high side of the speedway right now, made a couple of pit stops last week and battled back to the top 5 in the feature. Fight for the lead on lap number 4. The Benz Motorsports number 60 of Tommy Beck looking to the inside of Todd Price, the former truck division ace. And out of turn number 4, Beck will take over the lead. The Monarch Oil sponsored Chevrolet Monte Carlo of Tommy Beck out in front at the midway point of this event, now pulling away from Price. Will Thomas in car 9 started at the back of the field. He's past Catone, he's past Mark Poole, he's up to 3rd and quickly gaining on the 15 of Price. Thomas, a 2-time feature winner here at Motordrome Speedway last season, has won at 7 different speedways in 3 different states. And the Sharpsville, Pennsylvania resident takes the Colonial Metal Products 9 into the runner-up spot. Three laps remaining. Early leader Price is back to 3rd. Poole is 4th and Mark Catone in 5th. Up front, it's all Tommy Beck in car number 60 with 2 laps to go. Back in the 6th position, we see a team car to Mark Smith out of the Richter Racing Stables in car 98. It is the Hunter Peterbilt machine of Neil Brown making his first start of the season as the white flag is waving. Final lap, a possible challenge for 4th as Catone looks to the outside of Mark Poole, but out of turn number 4, last year's leading feature winner grabs his 2nd heat race win of the season. Tommy Beck takes the checkered flag over Will Thomas, Todd Price, Mark Poole, and Mark Catone. Driver change there. 15 is Jonathan Heilman, 69 Joe Nicola, 18 Jeff Zellweger. The 50 is Tony Manganello, the 31 is Sean Phillips. And the 5 at the back of the field, we don't have a driver on just yet. All 3 of the AK chassis lime and white cars are in this event. One of them is the meat of a sandwich headed into turn 3 with Joe Nicola on the bottom and Jonathan Heilman up top. Now here comes Sean Phillips in the 31 car. Still trying to sort out the green and white cars with the driver changes. We know Joe Nicola is your leader in car 69. We know Sean Phillips is in car 31 in the 2nd position after he had a practice crash last week. Jonathan Heilman, the young driver from Bell Vernon, in 3rd spot. And then it is Andrew Kostelnik in the car that looks like 05. They've made a duct tape number 57 on the door so that Kostelnik can keep the points to his car number. Then it's the 18 of Jeff Zellweger from Allison Park. Working lap number 3 of 8, single file all the way around the speedway. Joe Nicola from West Mifflin, Pennsylvania. In that Ford Thunderbird number 69, he was a multiple feature winner last season. And he sees the crossed flag signaling halfway. In car 31, it is Sean Phillips, a very consistent racer from Jefferson, Pennsylvania. Last season got a heat win and a feature victory. The 15 of Jonathan Heilman seeking his career first feature win, riding in 3rd spot. Then Andrew Kostelnik, he was a feature winner last season as well in the 57 car. 18 is Jeff Zellweger, the driver who graduates from the Legacy series of competition. 50 is Tony Manganello from Clairton, Pennsylvania. His 2nd season of Motordrome competition now underway as he joined us regularly for the first time in 07. As we do each week in the Subway Street Stock division, we will play the Subway Challenge coming your way later tonight, giving each and every one of you an opportunity to win a free 6-inch meatball sub from participating Subway locations. On the final lap, Joe Nicola with a big lead over Sean Phillips. Phillips, whose season started off in the wrong way with a practice crash last week. Great to see him with that car back together, having a good run. But the best run of all in this heat race is to Joe Nicola of West Mifflin, who takes the checkered flag over Phillips, Heilman, Andrew Kostelnik, and Jeff Zellweger. Ninth senior. 64 is Bill Henry. 68 is Jamie Shipley. 3 is Teddy Gabala, as we are green and racing for Subway Street Stock Heat Race number 2. Jason Holder streaking out to a big lead. 34 car of Minjop not quite coming up to speed at the wave of the green flag. He was a dominant feature winner in the Charger division last season, and as a Subway Street Stock rookie, falls back now to the 3rd spot where the 68 of Jamie Shipley is challenging him. Shipley from Portview, Pennsylvania, charging up into the 3rd spot around Minjok. Then it's Knight Senior in the 76. Teddy Gabala in car number 3 was a feature winner last year at Jennerstown as a rookie. Working lap number 2 of 8, it's all Jason Holder, the Stoystown driver in car 74. Last week he won the feature event for the Subway Street Stocks. In 2007 was very consistent, but was shut out of victory lane here at Motordrome, although a winner at Jennerstown in 07 was the leader. Big lead for Holder now. In the second position, it's the 64 of Bill Henry from Vandergrift, Pennsylvania. Henry last season won the Subway 25, the biggest event of the season for Street Stocks. Henry, one of the most popular drivers at the Speedway, racing on a tight budget, but out here every week with us. As we are halfway home, 4 laps down, 4 to go. Jamie Shipley of Portview, Pennsylvania, the 68 car in third. He seeks a career first feature victory this season. And Teddy Gabala in the 3 car, headed into turn number 3. Looking to the outside of Aaron Minjock in 34. Both of those drivers are somewhat rookies as Minjock moves up a division this season. And Gabala competed only at Jennerstown last year as a rookie. And Gabala pulls away with the 4th spot. Something might be amiss with the 34 of Minjock. At the back of the field with 2 laps to go, we see the 76 of Knight Sr. and Ray Cimbali in the 38 car. On the front straight, the white flag is out for the Stoystown Auto Wreckers number 74 of Jason Holder. Last week in a hard-fought victory, he parked that Monte Carlo in victory lane after the 20-lap feature event. And now with a big lead in Subway Street Stock Heat Race number 2, Jason Holder will win convincingly over Bill Henry in car 64 from Vandergrift. Portview, Pennsylvania resident Jamie Shipley with a great run coming home in third over rookie Teddy Gabala in the Tom Clark Chevrolet, and Aaron Minjock, the Subway Street Stock newcomer, comes home in the 5th spot. 19 car of Denny Keller from Monongahela. Next row, it's the 1 of Tracy Keller, the former champion, and the defending champion in car 4. That is Mike Lemley from Dawson, Pennsylvania. The 5 of Oldham out to an early lead. Oldham had a spin during our practice session earlier. Now the MAG Racing teammates of Stokes and Gardner side by side. Here comes Denny Keller in the 13. His cousin Tracy right behind him in the 1. 29 of Bruce Hamilton right there alongside our defending champ. Stokes taking the lead from Oldham now as the 95 goes out in front. That car is for sale with more than 20 feature victories to its credit. And we're working lap number 2. With 4 laps remaining, Stokes, last week's winner and the leading feature winner of 07, is out in front of Connellsville veteran Bill Oldham in the 5. Oldham, a graduate of our American Flyers division several seasons back, as is third place driver Gardner, both of those competitors moving up from the American Flyers. Keller family fight for 4th, the 13 of Denny Keller and the 1 of Tracy Keller. Tracy, a former division champion, taking the 4th spot away, pulling up to the rear bumper of Gardner. Then it's Bruce Hamilton in the 29, still door-to-door with Mike Lemley in the 4. Lemley, a feature winner last season, en route to a championship. He had a very patient feature event on opening night. Was not a factor until the very end of the race. He pulls himself into 2nd spot and maybe making another championship run with a smooth, consistent drive like last week's feature. White flag is out for Stokes, however. Last week, the driver from West Newton, Pennsylvania, affectionately known as Sideways, made it a sweep, winning the preliminary heat race and the feature. And in turn number 4, undefeated on the racetrack in our 2nd week of competition, another checkered flag for Jimmy Stokes. Bill Oldham with a great run in 2nd over Tracy Keller, now 3rd, with Gardner falling back to 4th and Denny Keller in 5th spot. The 3 is Terry Schwartz, the 2nd female competitor in the field, as we get set to go green. 5 laps for the American Flyers. And with the brake lights a-glowing, lap number 1 finds the record breaker Ed Deneen out in front. Side by side, long-time veteran, many-time winner Larry Vance in the Ford Tempo number 28. And the sophomore driver, Paul Rosa, in the 6. He was a 2-time winner last season as a rookie, 3 wide in turn 4 briefly. Cody Quarrick and Jeff Halfhill both splitting the 51 of Kevin Ludwig. More 3 wide on the back straight as Shelpman is the meat of a sandwich between Quarrick and Halfhill. Both the 7 and the 9 were feature winners for the Mopar contingent last season here at Motordrome. Working lap number 2 of 5. Folks, if you're looking for an affordable and easy way to move from the grandstands to the Speedway, let me introduce you to the American Flyers division. You can visit our website at motordrome.com and download a set of rules to build yourself an American Flyers race car. It's an excellent hobby to get yourself some track time on the NASCAR sanctioned oval. These drivers are having a blast, particularly out of turn 4 here as Kevin Ludwig has Terry Schwartz and Mary Catherine Shimko, a pair of ladies haunting him for position on lap number 3 of 5. White flag waving for Ed Deneen in car 16. He's won more events in this division than any other driver. And Rosa, who sort of a sophomore, as he only made about 5 or 6 starts last season, is in 2nd spot. Down the back straight, Larry Vance in the 28 may feel the pressure of Jeff Halfhill before they reach the finish line, so we'll watch the battle for 3rd. But out of turn number 4, Ed Deneen with another checkered flag after winning last week's heat-in feature. Paul Rosa comes home in the 2nd spot. It will be Jeff Halfhill by a fender, getting the MAG Racing team up into the 3rd spot over Larry Vance. And the 9 of Cody Quarrick from the back of the pack to crack the top 5. And 1, row 2, George Nicola and Brian Ship. Row 3, Jim Nicola and Pete Reck. Green flag is out. And Bobby Ship with a high lane pass of Tom Knight, taking over the point position, putting the 97 of George Nicola and Knight between himself and his younger brother Brian Ship. Wheel to wheel, the battle for 5th. It's Jim Nicola and Pete Reck. Now Lonnie Hoffman in the 58 joins that fray. Knight in the 76 car seems to have handling problems in turn 2, and that opens the door for Brian Ship in the 40, same way as it did for Bobby Ship on the opening lap. Brian Ship takes over 3rd position as Knight continues to drop back with a very loose handling race car. Working lap 2 of 20, we've got a challenge for the lead already on the back straight. George Nicola of Pittsburgh in car 97. Sliding to the inside of Bobby Ship in the 04. Both of these drivers went to victory lane in 2007. And Nicola, who crashed out of last week's feature event, takes over the point position on lap 3. Nicola was involved in a scary crash headed into turn number 1 last week with, we got problems on the back straight. Lonnie Hoffman's 58 dropping to the tail of the field. The 01 of Ofer and the 6 of Tom Frank avoid contact. Working lap number 4 in the middle of the pack, Gary Scott has already passed some 6 race cars after starting at the tail because he was unable to compete in the preliminary tonight. Gary Scott in the 16 car now pinned on the outside, going 3 wide in turn 4. Look out as we head to the front straight. Scott on the top backs off and lets Chris Brink, Harry Ofer, and the 81 of Pete Reck go through. It's only lap 5, no need to take a chance like that as Scott was storming up through the field before he got pinned in the outside lane. Just in front of that battle, the Tom Knight Jr. 76 car, still having handling problems, trying to close the door on Adam Kostelnik, who makes the pass for the 4th spot here on lap number 6. They bang wheels just a little bit. And Kostelnik up to the top 4 as Knight still struggling with a very loose race car. Lots of heated action in the middle of the pack as Gary Scott now moving to the outside of Chris Brink and takes that spot away. Now challenging Jim Nicola, who started close to the front of this field to the outside. Nearly 3 wide again that time into turn 3. Scott in the 16 trying to complete the pass of Nicola to him. We got a spin. Last week's winner, Tom Frank. And the 0-1 of Harry Ofer go around in turn 4, bringing out the caution. Team car was the man on the move as we get the green flag on lap 8 of 20 for Nicola. Bobby Shipp, Brian Shipp, and Kostelnik, who quickly moves to the outside of the youngster. 4-time track champion Adam Kostelnik in the Luzader Auto Service 60. A double-duty driver who won 2 division championships last season. Nearly making contact is Brian Shipp in the 40 with the left rear quarter panel of Kostelnik, but on lap 9, third position belongs to the defending champion. George Nicola up front took the lead with what looked like an easy pass, but has not been able to put any distance whatsoever between himself and the 04 of Bobby Shipp. Last week, Shipp was the victim of a last lap pass. Maybe he wants to let this race unwind just a little longer to set up Nicola for a late race drama this week. On lap 11, the battle for 5th is 3 or 4 cars strong with the 76 of Knight. He's doing a great job hanging on to a car that is not set up at all right tonight. The 5 of Jim Nicola, the 0 of Chris Brink, and there's the 16 of Gary Scott, who started last. 4 cars racing under a blanket for 5th position on lap 12. Wheel-to-wheel action now, 2 rows deep in the fight for 5th. Nicola, Knight, and Scott, longtime veterans, the 0 of Chris Brink in his 2nd season of Motordrome Modified competition. Working lap number 13 and turning our attention to the front, Adam Kostelnik has closed in on the lead duo. With less than 1 full car length separating George Nicola and Bobby Shipp, Adam Kostelnik has closed in to make it a 3-car race on lap 14. 6 laps remaining. Lap traffic will not be an issue for the leaders, Nicola, Shipp, and Kostelnik. We got a caution flag. Debris on the front straight. A chunk of exhaust that hopefully the competitors will see. Oh, and Bobby Shipp runs over the debris. It comes after Kostelnik, but he gets away from it. Front George Nicola, Bobby Shipp, and Adam Kostelnik breaking away from the rest of the field already on the restart with 5 to go. Nicola sees his biggest lead of the race on this restart. He had 2 or 3 car lengths over Bobby Shipp, but that margin dwindles quickly in turns 3 and 4. Working lap 16, and Adam Kostelnik changes to the high side. Can't get it done in turn 1 as the car pushed up just a little. Down the back straight, still looking to the outside of Shipp. A side-by-side battle for second is exactly what George Nicola needs to cinch up a victory. Again, Kostelnik looks high in turn 1. Working lap 17 of 20. Close enough to reach out and touch the rear bumper of Bobby Shipp. Kostelnik from deep in the field. Shipp from row number 1, and Nicola seeing the 2 lap to go signal. Slightly harder contact this time, as Kostelnik right on the heels of Shipp. Not enough racing room on the low side of the speedway in turns 1 and 2. Shipp still within striking distance of Nicola, but worried about the defending champ on his bumper. White flag waving. final lap, will either of the two drivers behind Pittsburgh's George Nicola mount a challenge? Single file through turns 1 and 2 and headed to 3 and 4 for the final time. Kostelnik up to the top in car 60. Ship looking to get close enough to reach the rear bumper of Nicola. Checkered flag will wave. George Nicola gets the victory over Bobby Ship, Adam Kostelnik, Brian Ship, and Jim Nicola. Well, George, before we talk about all the good stuff in this feature win, I was telling the race fans what a horrible start to 2007 that you had, with bad luck week after week, and then last week on our opener, you had to be thinking, is this going to be another bad opening half of the year?
Hey, last week was all my fault. Last week with Lonnie, I drove into him, and I didn't mean to do it on purpose. I feel sorry for all of his fans and everybody that helps him out, because I know how much work it is to put him back together.
Well, put it back together, you did. A run tonight, you just stormed right into the lead. It looked like you had a much better car than Bobby Ship when you made the pass, but you couldn't pull away from him.
Bobby's the kind of guy, I like Bobby, we talk a lot, but he needs a rabbit to chase, you know what I mean?
So you think you motivated that guy?
He got beat on the high side last week. I think he motivated himself.
How about a chance to thank all the sponsors and crew that made this 97 a winning ride?
First, I got to thank everybody that helped me out here this week. My dad, Joe, John Lawton, Hooks. These guys put these cars together week in and week out for me, and I can't say enough for them because, you know, I bend them up. And I got to thank PJ Smoke Shop, Stellar Generator, Jackson Welding. I'd like to thank you fans for coming out on this wonderful night.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen, putting the Ford in victory lane, Pittsburgh's George Nicola. Lewis from Monongahela. And the NASCAR Pizza Hut Super Late Models are green and racing for 35 laps. And the Richter teammates make contact at the front of the field. Mark Smith goes around after Neil Brown made light contact. Mark Poole in the 96 stops to avoid contact, and the one of Steve Black wisely spins to the inside. NASCAR Pizza Hut Super Late Models storming out of turn 4 for a second attempt to start the 35-lap feature, and the green flag is out. In his first race for Richter Motorsports, Neil Brown in car 98 from Acme, Pennsylvania takes the lead. Side by side for second, veteran Mark Catone and young Paul Urso in the 37 car. Catone gets second spot. Then it's Urso, Mark Poole, and oh, we got a spin on the front straight as Steve Black has made hard concrete contact. The Penn West Toyota lift. Black Mountain Enterprises Camry number 1 is severely damaged with hard wall contact on the front straight. One lap completed, 34 to go. Mark Catone nearly spins on the restart out of turn 4. He gathers the car back up, but loses several car lengths to Neil Brown as the entire field gasped on that one. Paul Urso back to third. Now Bobby Henry diving to the inside of Mark Poole and taking over 4th position. If Neil Brown goes on to win this race, he owes a big thanks to Mark Catone. With a slight miscue on the restart, Catone allows Brown to break out to a 12 or 13 car length lead. Battle is for third with Bobby Henry to the inside of Paul Urso. Urso seeking a career first feature victory, and Henry with 113 feature wins. Former dirt track champion here in limited late model action, Henry, now the defending NASCAR Pizza Hut late model champion, takes third on lap 4. Mark Poole now fighting to maintain a top 5 spot as he battles the 37 of Urso. Then it's Richard Mitchell in 22. Tommy Beck in the 60 has climbed from very deep in this field. On opening night last Friday, Beck stole the second position away by inches at the finish line from Richard Mitchell. We got a spin in turn 2. Bo Glemba going around in the Hemp Hill Racing number 78 car. Green flag back out. Catone very smooth this time and tucked right up under the spoiler of Brown. Working lap 6 of 35. Neil Brown in his first start of the season, Mark Catone, Bobby Henry, Mark Poole, then a battle for 5th position with Paul Urso and West Virginia's Richard Mitchell in car 22. Urso in the Sullivan Chevrolet number 37. Graduate of the truck division and former late model rookie of the year, has the former NASCAR Northeast region champion Mitchell diving to his inside, and here comes Beck following in the opening. Last year's leading winner, Beck, to the inside of Urso. He takes away the spot. Now Will Thomas is there to challenge. The floodgate has opened on lap number 8 to the inside of the 37 of Paul Urso. And Thomas in car 9, a top 5 finish last week after a pit stop in the feature. Threatening to move his way into the top 5 again this week. In 7th, the 9 of Will Thomas. In 6th, the 60 of Tommy Beck. In 5th, Richard Mitchell in 22 after taking the 2007 season off. In 4th, it's Mark Poole staying right with defending champion Bobby Henry as they pull away from the rest of the field. Mark Catone in 2nd. And on lap 10, Neil Brown continues to build a big lead. Challenge is for 5th now. Tommy Beck to the inside of Richard Mitchell. A pair of Chevrolet Monte Carlos doing battle, and here comes Will Thomas. Mitchell losing 2 positions in a single lap in car 22. Tommy Beck in the Benz Motorsports machine and Will Thomas in the Colonial Metal Products number 9. Both pulling away from Richard Mitchell's family operation. The Tom Clark Chevrolet 22 going backwards on lap 12. Top 5 on the Speedway strung out as it's Neil Brown of Acme, PA, Mark Catone of McKeesport, Bobby Henry of Connellsville, and Mark Poole in car 96 from 84, Pennsylvania. Working lap 15, leader Neil Brown, a multiple feature winner in 2007, making his first run for Richter Motorsports and was way off in the heat race. Brown barely passed a car and seemed to just cruise around the back of his preliminary field. With a pole starting position, he is distancing himself from Mark Catone on lap 16. Bobby Henry started deep in the field, moved up to 3rd. Mark Poole in 96 hanging on to 4th, and the even deeper starting Tommy Beck in 60, with Will Thomas in the 9, who has followed Beck up through this field. On lap 17, Mark Poole may be in jeopardy of losing 4th position. Tommy Beck in car 60 was leading several feature events in 2007 that he did not win as a result of electrical problems that haunted that team through the first half of the season. But in this first half of tonight's NASCAR Pizza Hut Super Late Model feature, Beck has climbed through the field. At the midway point, Tommy Beck looks to the inside of Mark Poole, headed into turn 3. Very close racing. Beck nearly into the infield and finally making contact as Poole goes around. As Neil Brown, Mark Catone, Bobby Henry lead him back to the green. Let's see if Tommy Beck has a few more position passes in that Benz Motorsports number 60. Defending champion Bobby Henry in car 11 is feeling the pressure of Tommy Beck in car 60. Fight is for third position. Very close racing that time in turns 3 and 4. Beck on the inside, Henry on the outside. Henry, the most veteran of the late model competitors on the speedway, falling back to fourth, make that fifth as Will Thomas again follows the opening made by Tommy Beck. All the way up from deep in the pack, it has worked just like that, with Tommy Beck finding a way around a race car and Will Thomas diving in the opening that was made. Here's a battle of former track champions. Richard Mitchell in 22, Bobby Henry in the 11. Henry now in jeopardy of going off the scoreboard and out of the top 5 as the Chris Bailey 17 car pulls out of the pits. Tommy Beck reeling in Mark Catone now. On lap 23, Tommy Beck sweeps by Catone. The two-time track champion falls back to third. This time Thomas was not on the heels of Beck to follow through. It's now Neil Brown out in front, Tommy Beck in second, Mark Catone in third, but loose handling, and the 9 of Will Thomas. Thomas side by side with Catone now, the two-time Mara champion. Into third spot, he has cleared Catone's car, and there are 10 laps remaining. Neil Brown with approximately a third of a straightaway lead over Tommy Beck, but Beck is cutting down that interval. Will 10 laps be enough for the Benz Motorsports 60 to challenge the Richter Motorsports 98 of Neil Brown? In turn number 1, the fight for 5th position, 3 cars strong with Bobby Henry and Richard Mitchell racing very close. Henry's Paul Agrudo Motorsports teammate Gary Wiltrout, the winner a week ago, right there with that battle. Working lap 27, and Richard Mitchell surrounded by the Stone and Company Megan Fords of Bobby Henry and Gary Wiltrout. Just in front of them, the loose handling Mark Catone 31 machine, as all 3 of them are gaining quickly on the former champ. Catone, who had a terrific run last Friday, leading several laps, may just have some worn tires on the back of the 31 car. And here comes Henry to challenge for 4th spot in car 11. Down the back straight, the 3-car fight for 4th spot continues to be the best battle on the racetrack. We're 3 wide in turn 4. Very close racing. And with 5 to go, Bobby Henry takes over 4th. Richard Mitchell on the very high side of the speedway has to back off and allow Wiltrout and Catone to fight for 5th. Still nearly 3 wide. Wiltrout completes the pass by inches at the scoring line to begin working lap 31. Now Mitchell to the inside of Catone with 4 to go. Mitchell trying to take away 6th spot, as up front, Neil Brown continues to maintain a sizable lead over Tommy Beck. Laps to go. The signal given to veteran Neil Brown in car 98. Brown, who left Motordrome Speedway's NASCAR competition to race on dirt in 2006, returned to the pavement in 2007 as a multiple feature winner. Tonight with a brand new race team out of the Richter Motorsports stable. The Hunter's Peterbilt Davies Ford number 98. The final time through turns 3 and 4, and with yet another team, Neil Brown scores another Motordrome Speedway victory in the NASCAR Pizza Hut Super Late Models over Tommy Beck, Will Thomas, Bobby Henry, and a dead heat for 5th position between Gary Wiltrout and Richard Mitchell. Well, Neil, let's talk first about that heat race of yours. You came out, you cruised around a little bit, and I thought, well, this must just be a test session for that new team, because looked like this thing might not have been exactly to your liking in the preliminary.
Well, we just finished this car up at 4:30 today, and this is the first it's been on the track, and we put the wrong gear in for the heat race. That was our fault. But I got to commend my pit crew, Jim Alborn, my crew chief. He's done a great job. And Mark Smith, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get into you, but I was a little excited. I'd like to thank Bill Richter for giving me the opportunity to run this car this year. I'd like to thank my sponsors, Davies Ford, Jim Davies. I appreciate what you did for me here with the motor. R&M Trucking, O'Shea Lumber, Hunter's Peterbilt.
He has to look at the car. Now let me ask you this, how many different owners have you won for?
3.
Does that include yourself?
That includes myself. Sean Pilla, Bill Richter, and myself.
Now coming out on the first night and having that heat race, was this something that you had really pictured tonight, or getting this car done at 4:30, were you just here to shake it down?
I got enough faith in Jim Alborn. I said, if nothing falls off, I think we can win tonight. This is the first Ford I ever really run, and kind of like it.
He kind of likes the crate engine, and his longtime crew chief here with him in victory lane, ladies and gentlemen, Neil Brown. It's the division rookie from Greenock, Aaron Minjock. Green flag is out. Subway Street Stock 20 lap feature is underway. 3 wide into turn number 1. The 50 is Tony Manganello, and we got a caution flag. And we have an official's word that the 68 of Shipley is losing a tremendous amount of fluid that is probably gasoline. Then Tom Knight Sr. in 76, Jamie Shipley back out on the speedway in the 68, and the green flag is out. Three wide as Gabala drops back at the wave of the green flag. From the front row, falling back to mid-pack and beyond. Tough break for the Motordrome Speedway newcomer. Andrew Kostelnik, the early leader by just about an inch over Jonathan Heilman in 15. Bill Henry in 64 right there with this battle. Subway Challenge driver of the night, Sean Phillips on the move. Passing the 64 of Henry, passing the 57 of Andrew Kostelnik. And after a practice crash last week, Sean Phillips challenging for the lead on lap 2. Jonathan Heilman in the 15 car. One of the younger competitors in this division along with Gabala. They are door to door down the back straight. Officially, it was Heilman in the lead as they reached the scoring line to work lap 2. Completing the pass out of turn 4, Jefferson, Pennsylvania's Sean Phillips in 31. If Phillips can maintain this lead for 17 more laps, everybody gets a free 6-inch meatball sub from Subway. Bill Henry now passes Heilman, and here comes Joe Nicola from a mid-pack starting position. Nicola, whose cousin went to victory lane in the modified feature moments ago, is door-to-door with Bill Henry on lap 4. Heilman back to 4th, and last week's winner, Holder, up to 5th. Here comes another challenge into turn 3 by Joe Nicola, the 69 car. Big feature winner last season, second only to champion Kostelnik in number of victories. He takes over the second spot. Henry, with one feature victory last season, his career first, came on the biggest night of the year. Heilman in 15, still looking for a career first win, but having a strong run tonight, he looks poised to battle Henry for the 3rd position, which he once held. Holder in 74, gaining on the front 4, as Sean Phillips on lap 6 holds a lead of about 6 car lengths. working lap number 7. Joe Nicola in 69 is closing on the leader, but the best battle on the speedway is that for 4th. Jason Holder just took that spot away from Bill Henry and now pulls away by about 2 car lengths. Jonathan Heilman in 3rd. If Holder continues to march like this, he will be side by side with Heilman in no time as we are working lap 8. Trouble for the AK chassis team as Andrew Kostelnik pulls into the pits on the front straight and Adam Kostelnik is looking for the pits on the back straight. Lap 9, the downfall of the AK chassis team as 2 of their entries, the brothers Kostelnik retiring on the same lap, and Adam may not be able to make it back to the pit entrance. Working lap number 9 now, and we need a caution flag. With 9 of 20 laps completed, Subway Challenge Driver of the Night Sean Phillips brings us back to full speed on the front straight. Joe Nicola from deep in the field in car 69 up to 2nd. Jonathan Heilman in 3rd. Jason Holder having another great run. Last week's winner is up to 4th with Bill Henry in 5th. Tony Manganello, the only AK chassis team member still on the speedway, rides 6th in car 50. Challenge for the lead at the midpoint of the event, Joe Nicola. In car 69, the Ford Thunderbird to the inside of the Chevy Monte Carlo. 2 longtime veteran campaigners nearly swapping paint in turns 3 and 4. New leader will be Nicola on lap 11. With the lead change, Phillips dropping back 3 or 4 car lengths. And the best battle now is for 3rd. Jonathan Heilman has Jason Holder just inches off the back bumper on lap number 12. Ford Thunderbird, and then a host of Chevrolet Monte Carlos throughout the rest of the field. As Nicola up front, Phillips in 2nd, Heilman, Holder, and Henry. Teddy Gabala in car 3, back out on the speedway after a pit stop, but not up to full speed as the leaders will have to negotiate around him in turn 4. Five laps remaining, and it looks like Joe Nicola may have dashed our hopes of free meatball subs by passing Sean Phillips for the lead. Phillips dropping back, Heilman able to hold off Holder as the youngster fights off the veteran to maintain a podium position over last week's winner in 74. Bill Henry by himself in the 5th spot with Manganello in 6th. With 3 laps to go, Heilman may not be out of the woods yet as Holder's trying to mount another challenge for 3rd as Nicola pulls out to a big lead over Phillips. Phillips had a great heat race run and a strong feature run after damaging that car severely in practice last week. Phillips, who was a championship contender throughout most of 2007, gets off to a terrible start in 2008, not scoring a single point on opening night after loading up to go home. And we got a caution flag. Jamie Shipley in 68 brings out the caution flag with a spin in turn 3. As the green flag waves, Joe Nicola has 2 laps to hold off Sean Phillips, Jonathan Heilman, and Jason Holder. Single file action down the back straight. Joe Nicola, the only Ford in the field, taking the white flag. Final time around, Jason Holder may still have an opportunity to advance to third around Heilman. Phillips all by himself in second place as the Subway Challenge driver, nearly getting it done for us tonight. But out of turn 4, one of 2007's leading feature winners, takes another checkered flag, Joe Nicola from West Mifflin. Gets the victory over Sean Phillips, Jonathan Heilman, Jason Holder, and Bill Henry. Well, Joe, on your first win every season, I ask you the same question. Define the relationships between Jim, George, and all these Nicolas that are here racing with us each Friday.
George is my cousin. George, Jim, and Rich are all my uncles. My dad's Tom in the orange shirt. That's basically it.
Well, now that we have that confusion all settled, you made a pretty quick march through there. Sometimes you're a little patient, sometimes you're aggressive. You have won features with some late race passes, but Sean Phillips had a big lead on you for a while there.
Yeah, he was running pretty strong. I just tried to stay smooth. This car, it was hooking. It was just grabbing the track, man. And I knew if I stayed steady on him, I figured he'd start looking in the mirror and I could shake him up, and he started changing his line a little bit, and that's how I got the run on him.
So this was a strategy win more than a horsepower win for you tonight.
Yeah, the car was running pretty good, though. It's great when you get 2 Fords in victory lane with George winning the modifieds. That's awesome. Don't get no better than this.
And how about a chance to thank sponsors and crew?
Well, first I want to thank my mom and dad, my fiance Jess, her sister Monica. 2 guys I got to thank the most is my Uncle George and Cousin George. These guys, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. All I do is drive it. They basically set it up, and Uncle George makes the power. And I also want to thank John Lawton, Hooks. Thanks to everyone. And I don't really have no sponsors, but if anyone's looking to get a deer head done next year, give me a call.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, George Nicola back in victory lane at Motordrome Speedway. Mr. Blank has been victorious in his long career, but as a Charger competitor, he will take the lead from team owner Ed Neidhart. Bruce Hamilton in the 29 car, the former modified division driver, splitting the teammates for second position, and he drifts up right into the path of the 4 of Mike Lemley, 3 wide in the middle of the pack. The Mag Racing teammates door to door with Bill Oldham on the bottom, and Stokes takes away about 4 positions in 1 lap, gliding to the inside of Roger Bryant. A thrilling lap 1 is in the scorebooks. Dustin Blank, the veteran, out in front of the field. Bruce Hamilton from the modified division into the Chargers in car 29 has defending champion Mike Lemley to his outside in the 4. Stokes from last into the top 5 already as he passes Neidhart for position. Neidhart had a serious crash here last Friday, and that car may not be up to what it was in performance a week ago. And Stokes splits the difference between the 29 of Hamilton and the 4 of Lemley, putting the defending champion back to 3rd. Up front, it's Dustin Blank in car 48, the Neidhart Auto-sponsored Oldsmobile. Working lap 3 of 15, Dustin Blank's career includes Subway Street Stock competition, NASCAR Super Late Model competition, and even a brief period of touring with the NASCAR Goodies Dash Series in the Southeast United States. Neidhart with all that experience out in front, and Jimmy Stokes, the leading feature winner of 2007, closing in quickly to try and make it a sweep. Last week, Stokes won the heat, won the feature. Earlier tonight, Stokes won the heat, and now with light contact to the 48 of Dustin Blank, takes over the lead on lap 5. Dustin Blank battles back in the 48 machine. Mike Lemley in the 4 closes up to this battle for top 3 positions as Hamilton hangs on to 4th. Dustin Blank in the 48 car fighting a severe loose handling condition. Inside lane that time looked like it might have been open for Mike Lemley. Seven of 15 laps completed. Jimmy Stokes checking out on the field after starting last. A week ago, Stokes had a much more conservative approach to the victory. And now here comes Lemley powering to the inside of Dustin Blank as Bruce Hamilton heads pit side out of a top 5 position on lap 8. Lemley, now the runner-up, taking spot away from Dustin Blank and completing the pass. Tracy Keller in car 1 started deep in the field. He's up to 4th, and he is gaining on the 48 of Blank. Bruce Hamilton, the 29 car, drove through the pits but did not stop and comes back out on the speedway in car 29. He did relinquish his top 5 spot, however. 5 laps to go for Jimmy Stokes. The signal given to the West Side Lube and Tire Monte Carlo from the MAG Racing Stable. Remember, race fans, the car out in front of this field is for sale. If you want to buy yourself a car that you know has the possibility to win, stop down and see Jimmy and the MAG Racing team right after the races tonight. Of course, each and every one of you are invited down to the pits at the conclusion of tonight's racing action to meet the drivers and take a look at the race cars up close. This time at the scoring line, Jimmy sideways. Stokes will see the signal of 2 laps to go. Lemley hangs on to 2nd. Dustin Blank still 3rd. Tracy Keller 4th. There may be a battle for the 3rd spot before this one is over. Hamilton is the 5th car on the speedway, but after taking a lap through the pits, it's actually Roger Bryan holding 5th spot in car 12 as the white flag waves for Jimmy Stokes. Stokes, who has threatened his loyal fans with retirement each of the last 3 seasons, off to a dynamite start in 2008, winning both heat races so far, and headed to make it 2 for 2 in the feature event, the West Side Lube and Tire 95 for West Newton, Pennsylvania's sideways Jimmy Stokes, taking the win over defending champion Mike Lemley from Dawson, Pennsylvania in car 4. Dustin Blank holds on to the 3rd spot over former champion Tracy Keller, and in the 5th position it will be Roger Bryan in car 12. Well, Jimmy, last week you told me that you might be taking a little more conservative approach to the racing this season, what with having this car up for sale, and darn if you didn't make lap 1 one of the most exciting ones we've seen around here.
Well, I don't want to bump the car because it is for sale, ladies and gentlemen. So I tried to take it easy tonight. I didn't want to do no rubbing. Tried to get through everybody real clean and that. And Mike, you know, I just come out to have fun. I don't want to wreck nobody.
That was a heck of a first lap. Then you cruised away a little bit there. I know you like to win them close at the finish, but you had to be thinking to yourself, man, this is a great way to spend a warm summer night when you got a big lead like that.
Yeah. Actually, starting in the back, I didn't know what to expect. The car's handling absolutely perfect. So I knew that I had a real good, chance tonight, as long as I kept everything clean. And I felt I did run pretty clean with Dustin Blank and that on the pass, and everything was good.
Let me ask you this. Somebody buys this car, do they get your notebook of all those setups too?
Well, that's an extra $5,000. Listen, I got to thank my sponsors right off the bat. Westside Tire and Lube. Without them, I wouldn't even be here. Bob treats me absolutely fantastic. I can't say enough good about Westside Tire and Lube and Tire. PA Appraisal Services, Barnes Sheet Metal, Complete Car Company, Miller Yamaha. And last but least, Stan's Transmissions. I got to thank them guys and the fans for coming out tonight. Hope I perform for you.
He's perfect in 2008, ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Stokes. Both of those drivers, feature winners last year. The Froggy 44 is Mary Catherine Shimko, and the 16 is Ed Deneen, last week's feature winner. We're 4 wide in turn 1 on lap 1. Cody Quarrick in the 9, storming past the 3 of Terry Schwartz. Now we're 3 wide. It's Eifert, Sheltman, and Halfhill. Now we're 3 wide with Eifert, Halfhill, Schwartz. We're 4 wide again. And we're still 3 wide. Even on my best night, I can't announce 4 cars racing for the same position in the same second. So we'll let this one sort out for a minute while we tell you Cody Quarrick is up front and feeling the pressure of Jeff Halfhill. The 9 of Cody Quarrick, who started his career on dirt tracks, then switched last season to the Asphalt American Flyers. He was a late model competitor last week and destroyed the race car. Now loses the lead to Jeff Halfhill in the West Side Lube and Tire 7. All the way from the back of the field, Ed Deneen in car 16 is challenging for second. Ed Deneen is never shy about dropping a wheel into the grass, and he makes a low side pass of Cody Quarrick, who was the early leader of this event. Jeff Halfhill with about a 12 car length advantage, but that is shrinking quickly on lap 4 of 8. At the midpoint, Jeff Halfhill, a feature winner last season in car 7 for the MAG Racing team. Former division champion and all-time leading winner Ed Deneen is second after starting at the rear of the field. Cody Quarrick holds on to third, and Paul Rosa fourth. Both those drivers went to victory lane in 2007. In the 5th spot, it's veteran Larry Vance in car 28. And here comes a lead challenge on the back straight, working lap number 5 of 8. Ed Deneen pulling up to the rear bumper of Jeff Halfhill's number 7 car. A Dodge Daytona leading a Chevrolet Cavalier. Signal of 2 laps to go. The Nowak Painting Service, West Side Lube and Tire 7. Drifting up the racetrack, opening the inside lane and the apron to Ed Deneen in car 16. The Ed's Garage Swissvale Music Cavalier. Back up front again. He won the heat race earlier tonight and now takes the white flag. Final time down the back straight, building up an advantage of 5 or 6 car lengths in the final 2 laps, nearly making contact with the Kevin Ledwig machine. They're 3 wide for the win at the wave of the checkered flag. Deneen holds on. That was unexpected. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of promoter Stan Lasky, we thank each and every one of you for coming out to the Motordrome Speedway tonight. Well, Ed, this was a fun one to watch. You had to struggle and fight for the lead. Tell us what happened on the last lap as the lap car of Kevin Ledwig was holding his line, and here you come.
Yeah, I come around the corner, and Kevin was going a lot slower, and I tried to get behind him. I just touched the back of him and tried to get around him. I got around him. But I got to give a lot to Kevin or Jeff there, that turn there. I'll tell you what, he wouldn't have screwed up. He'd have won, but he went a little too high, and he left an opening, and I went underneath him. Yeah, it was good racing. Everybody good. We didn't wreck any cars. Everybody seemed to hold their line, did their thing. I got lucky there. Them guys got out of the way quick, and it just, sometimes you get up there. But he'd have beat me if he wouldn't have screwed up in that turn. But it was fun. It was a fun race. Fun race.
As a former champion with all these wins, with the car count increasing, do the younger drivers come to you for advice in this division?
Well, you know, I tell them they can always come to me, and I'll be glad to tell them whatever I can help them with to try to make them faster if they want. I'm always down in the pits. Anytime they want to ask me, I'll be glad to tell them how to get the car working a little better, what to do to drive it a little harder. That's the whole trick, is driving in hard and be able to get out of the turn. That's what makes the car fast. So.
And another thing that makes it faster, sponsors. How about a chance to thank yours?
I want to thank Antique Auto Appraisal, Lamar Kitchens. I want to thank Engine Express, Colgan Towing. These guys at Metro Construction, these guys all helped me out and been sponsors for years. And I'm glad everybody had a good time tonight. I'm glad we had a decent crowd. Should be big next week.
There he is, ready for Fan Appreciation Night, picking up the Pizza Hut bonus bucks tonight, Ed Deneen.